Hey everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's video where we're doing one of the Patreon design challenges. For a little while I've been thinking about adding in a new dry clay face powder into my range, but I couldn't decide which clay to use. I've been procrastinating about it for so long that I decided to do it as one of the Patreon design challenges without actually telling them that I was going to make a face mask. I just asked my patrons to name a clay that they'd like to see me use. Now I put all the suggestions into a soapy jug and I kept my fingers crossed that the clay that I drew out would not be in my current range. If it was, I'd be making a soap. But I did really hope to be pulling out a new clay so that I could get inspired to create a mask. And the one that I drew out of that soapy jug was from Lee, who runs Bath Body Bliss, and I've left links to her business down below. So go and check her out because she really is amazing with her work. And she wanted to see me use Mediterranean chocolate clay. Now I was really excited about getting this clay out because not only did I actually have it on my shelf, because I do use it to color some of the brown soaps in my range, I knew that this clay was really good for mature skin. It's got lots of anti-aging properties in it. And although I have got clays in my current range, I use the yellow clay, which is more for sensitive, dry to mature skin. I don't have a clay in there that is specifically aimed at those with mature skin. So having this Mediterranean chocolate clay just gave me the idea to create the face mask based on mature skin. And I was then also inspired by a chocolate bar that I used to like eating when I could eat chocolate before I became dairy intolerant. And that is the Bounty. That's got chocolate and coconut, because coconut is something else which is really good for mature skin. It is nice and hydrating, it is nourishing, and it's very, very gentle on the skin. So with this particular mask, not only am I going to be using some Mediterranean chocolate clay, we'll also be using some chocolate powder to give that added antioxidant and beautiful aroma to this clay. And we'll also be using some coconut milk powder. And this clay this clay face mask feels so silky and luxurious on the skin that I hope that you'll give it a go. Now with this particular clay face mask, I haven't given the measurements in this video. You could always play around and work out what works best for you. But if you do want the exact measurements, this is a recipe that I have loaded over on the Patreon shop. So you can go and grab that from there if you want to. Or as I said, you can always play around with the ingredients until you come up with the right balance for you. But anyway, we're going to go and make this new Mediterranean chocolate clay mask. And then after I've made it, I'm going to show you how to use it as well. Let's go. Okay, so let's get on with making this mask. And the number one thing when you are making clay masks is to make sure you are using plastic bowls and plastic utensils. Either that, or you can use silicone or wooden utensils as well. Never use metal with them, because when you introduce metal spoons into your clays, you can actually damage some of the properties of those clays. So I've got my bowl on my scale here, and I'm gonna start off with the Mediterranean chocolate clay. And it's got such a beautiful color, and I've actually used this to color soaps brown, and I find that this colors it better than what some of the brown micas can, along with some cocoa powder. It's really, really nice to use. But for today, we're going to pop it into our clay face mask, and I'm using it because it is got a lot of anti-aging properties. It draws impurities from out of the skin while actually firming up the tissues, and it leaves the skin feeling beautiful and soft. This clay is absolutely perfect for those with mature skin. We just need a little bit more in here. Hopefully I've got enough. 1 more gram. That's it. I have just enough in my container. I will have to get myself another bag of that one. Now, to kind of really make this very, very gentle for the mature skin, and because the clay, the Mediterranean chocolate clay, being so dark in color, as well as being quite an expensive clay, we are going to balance it out with some kaolin clay, or a white clay. And this is a white Australian clay. And this one is very, very very gentle on the skin. It's very cleansing as well, or it gently cleanses, I should say, and it also brightens and smooths the skin. So again, this clay is actually perfect for all skin types, but it is particularly good for those with mature skin, and it is a really good, almost what you'd call a filler in the clays for when you have got those more expensive clays in here and you just want to tone it out with a little bit. So I'll just get the right amount in here, and I know it looks like an awful lot compared to the chocolate clay I put in, but honestly that chocolate clay has got so many properties in it that the ratio is fine. And we're going to add some extra goodies into this one as well to really heighten the mask. Now the next thing I'm going to add in is some coconut milk powder. Now I'm actually going to put mine through the sieve. I buy this loose from one of the bulk source shops, and sometimes it does get a little bit clumpy, so I'm actually going to put it through the sieve. So we'll just measure out what we need here, and coconut milk is going to make this really nourishing and hydrating on the skin. So that's why we're adding that in. Once it combines with the water, that's when we will get a really lovely milk go through. So even if no one wants to, you know, get really adventurous with their mask and add in other liquids, just adding that water is going to turn this into a coconut milk within our actual product. So I'm just going to get this sifted through just to get rid of those lumps. All right, we've got our coconut milk powder in, and now we're going to add in, I'm adding in cacao powder, but you can add in cocoa powder. I do write what the difference is on the recipe, or you can simply Google what the difference is between the two. But you need to use either cocoa or cacao powder, not drinking chocolate, because that's full of sugars and other bits and pieces. We just want the actual chocolate powder in here. And this is, not only does it add a delicious smell to the product, chocolate is actually very, very good for the skin. It is loaded with antioxidants. We've probably all heard the reasons why we should be eating chocolate, but it's full of antioxidants, which really helps with the signs of aging, and it helps to revive the skin as well. So let's just take that right up to the right amount there. Stick my spoon in there, and now all we have to do is give this a good mix. And again, make sure you're either using plastic spoons or you're using a silicone spoon. I'm going to get this scale out the way. Oh, this is smelling so good, that cacao powder I've put in. Oh, it's a good one. And again, that's the cacao powder that I get from our local bulk source place, which is like a place you go in and you can buy all the things loose, and a lot of it is very health food orientated. And the one up the street from me, they actually turn their product over really, really quickly. So it is usually always fresh when we go in. But that is smelling absolutely beautiful. You want to give it a really good mix, making sure to go around the bottom of the bowl and kind of, like when you bake, you want to kind of fold it in, because as you do, you'll start to see you're bringing up chunks that aren't quite mixed in, and it's that folding action that will actually make sure that it is all mixed in well. So I'm going to keep giving that a stir, and once I'm happy that it is fully combined, I'm going to start potting it up in the jars. All right, so as you can see, I got a little bit violent with my mixing, but it is all still looking really good in here. Time to start potting it up, and I have some little glass jars which I'm going to pop them into. Because this is a dry powder mix, you don't need a lot as part of your product, because a little bit of this will go a long way. That jar full that I've just done there, that will give anywhere between 8 to 12 masks, depending whether people are doing just the face area or whether they're doing the whole neck area as well. So you don't need a lot in the jars. So don't be tempted to get yourself in 100-gram jars, because that is a lot of face masks to get through. So I'm just going to pop these into the jars. Once I've got them all filled up, I will then pop the lids on and we will get to labeling them. Now I do have a fair bit left over in my bowl. I'm going to make up some little samplers to send out with orders so people know about the new product. That's not going to work, is it? What I am also going to do is actually just pop in some of this mask for me to take home as well. And then when I get home, I'll be able to give you a demonstration of how this is going to work. We might just pop the little casket back in there as well. So I'm going to go get the lids for my jars and then we will start labeling them up. Okay, so we've got them all potted up in their jars. Let's get our labels on here. Oops, that one got a little bit bent. It'll be fine once it's on the jar here. Now this piece of wood that I'm using, I often get questions asked about what it is, and it's actually the underside of a stair rail banister. I found them in our local hardware store. So this is the side that sits on top of the railings on your stairs, and that's where all the little rails on your staircase sit. But it is absolutely perfect for stopping your jars from rolling around and just makes the labeling process so much easier. So I'm just getting these off. I print all my own labels. I actually have an Epsom C3500 printer, but it is no longer in production, sadly. I get so many people ask me about it. It was not a cheap printer. It was close to $2,000 to get it fully set up with some paper and the printer. But it has been the best printer I have had for printing up my labels. There are other models available, but unfortunately the particular one I have is no longer in production. But if you do want to splash out on a printer for your labels, I highly recommend having a look at the Epsom label printers. They use rolls of paper, and they just make printing labels up so much easier when you're running your own business. They're expensive, but well worth it. But there is our new chocolate and coconut inspired clay. I've called it Renew because you just want to renew your skin. So I'm going to finish labeling all these jars up. As you can see, I'm down at the shop. So once I get home, probably the next day, I am going to treat myself to a little face mask and show you exactly how to actually use them. All right, so as you can see, I am at home. I'm in my bathroom. It is my day off. Apologies for the echoing acoustics, but I need to do this in the bathroom. I have got my little pot of chocolate Mediterranean clay face mask here, and we're going to make some up and use it. Now, one of the reasons I really like doing the clay face masks as a powder is because you can mix that powder with any liquid that you like. I'm going to do it the most simplest way today, which is to add a little bit of water, and that's going to hydrate that coconut milk powder into coconut milk. But you can get really, really creative with these. Depending what you've got in them, you can do things like add some more coconut water in there, put some green tea for added antioxidants, maybe even put some cold coffee in there. Really, you can add almost anything into these to make them into a paste. You can add oils and all sorts. Now what I'm going to do is just get myself a little bit of a scoop. I'm trying not to throw powder everywhere. I have my little ceramic bowl and I'm going to pop that straight in there. Now you don't need a lot, usually about a small teaspoon is fine. All right, so now I'm going to add just a little bit of water in here. You don't need a lot, just enough to make this into a paste. I am going to be adding warm water in because I am a wuss when it comes to anything that's cold, but you can add in cold water too. Just going to get a very fine dribble coming out and just literally show it. So I've literally only got a little bit of water in there. Just going to give it a bit of a mix. You can always add more water if you need to. So you can see that the clay is starting to hydrate and all that water's gone. So we do need just a little bit more. The more you mix your masks up, the more you actually know how much you are going to need. If you do find you've added too much water, just add a little bit more powder until you get that right consistency. I know it doesn't look like there's a lot in the bowl, but trust me, there is enough in here to do the face. And I'm pretty happy with how that has come together there. It's probably just a little bit too runny, so I'm just going to add just a tiny bit more powder in there, and that's looking a bit better there. So now it's time to actually apply it. So I'm going to grab my little brush and I am just going to simply start painting this onto my face. I'm going to apply it to the cheeks. I don't tend to do my forehead very often when I apply my face masks, but I do make sure that I come all the way down the bottom of the jawline. You can see the little bit goes a long way. You don't want to be rubbing it in. So as soon as you can start to see the skin coming back through, go back in and pick up some more. You don't want a huge thick layer, but you do want to be applied in a nice sort of thin layer that's not rubbed in to the skin. Good. Oh, that's cold. Sorry, I'm watching myself in the big mirrors because it's a bit hard to do it on the camera. I'm going to get round the nose as well. Again, trying not to actually rub it in and letting it sit on the surface. I often miss my forehead. When I do these, I usually do just the bottom, but you can do the whole lot down through the T-zone as well. And now the idea with this is what you want to now go and do is grab a cup of tea, cup of coffee, glass of wine if it's late enough in the day. Go grab your favorite book or your game on your phone. A book's probably better. And then just go and sit down in a chair for 10 minutes and allow this to start to dry. Now you don't want it to dry completely, and I'll show you what it will look like in a bit. But you don't want it to dry completely because then it gets over drying. But oh, you want to get it just before it dries. Oh dear. Can't believe I'm doing this on camera, but anyhow, I've actually got a cup of tea brewing. I am going to go and do that. You can see it wasn't a lot that we mixed up, but it has covered the face. I'm going to go grab my cup of tea and my book, and I'm going to let this dry. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes of me sitting on the floor instead of on my chair because she thinks it's her chair. She also thought that the mask smelled rather good with that chocolatey smell to it, but she finally settled down so I could read my book. You can see that the mask has now changed color. It's gone a lot paler, a lot more powdery looking, but we still have those odd few little wet spots around. So this is the perfect time to actually go and wash this mask off. You don't want it to dry too much on the skin. The drier it gets, it is going to start then pulling that moisture back out of the skin instead of actually helping to put it in. So now is that perfect time to go and get it off. So I'm going to do that with just a little bit of warm water and maybe my cream cleanser. We'll see how things go. So let's go back to that bathroom. So as you can see, I have managed to claim my chair back and I have got all of the mask from off my face and it is feeling so lovely. I didn't use any cream cleanser to get the mask off. Instead, what I ended up doing about halfway through, I remembered I should really go and get an old towel or face cloth. I actually don't have any face cloths. So I went and grabbed an old towel and I got it wet with warm water and then just kind of patted it over the face, which kind of acts as a little bit of a spa treatment. Just puts that little bit of extra hydration into the skin as well. So I highly recommend when you're taking your masks off to use a warm towel to take it off as well. I know I was using a white one. Just be aware that some clays can actually stain white towels. So if you don't want to ruin your towels, get a dark one or get one specifically for taking your masks off with. But believe me, it makes such a difference to use those towels. I actually haven't done a face mask since we moved into the new house. So I'd forgotten that I used to use the towels to get them off. And once I swapped over to using that towel instead of splashing the water, oh, it made such a difference. And then with the big towel, I just pat dry. Don't rub, just pat dry it and then allow the air to dry the rest of it. And it makes such a big difference to how the skin feels. But it's all off and it just feels absolutely amazing. So there it is. That is my chocolate and coconut clay face mask. If you are interested in getting the actual measurements for it, as I said, the recipe is over on the Patreon shop page. Otherwise, just have a play around with the ingredients and find a balance that works well for you. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me today. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one and I'll see you then. Bye.